Before this video starts, I'd just like to make an announcement. I have the Liberal Tears mug for $14.99 on my website. It is the first link in the description if you want to go pick one up. Don't worry if it breaks when it comes to your house. I'll send you another one for free out of my pocket. I don't care. I want you to get your Liberal Tear mug. It comes in Liberal Tears white with the face, black with the face, white without the face, and black without the face. So pick whichever one you want, and it'll come to your door in about 3 to 5 days. So that should be epic. First link in the description. Thank you. Let's go on with the video.
I debate socialists all the time, and their only real comeback is, oh, that's not real socialism, or that's not real communism. Is there any way to really get around that and try to make them see that, look, just because your version of socialism, with that magical fantasy land version of socialism, has not been tried, doesn't mean that socialism is an acceptable concept?
Yes. So the problem is that you're arguing with them in terms of the effectiveness of socialism. So what that argument is, you say socialism doesn't work, it fails everywhere, it makes people poor and miserable, right? That's the argument. And then they go, but that's because it hasn't been properly tried, right? That's their comeback. So here is the actual argument that works with socialism. It is immoral to steal from people even if you vote to steal from people. Okay, if there are 3 people in a room, and it's me, and I have $100, and you and your friend are in the room, and you vote to beat me up and take my money, that does not make it morally legitimate for you to beat me up and take my money. One of the great lies that's been told about socialism, and you see this all the time, is people say socialism, beautiful idea in theory, but it doesn't work in practice. No, socialism is a shitty idea in theory, and it's an immoral idea in practice. Okay, Socialism violates at least 3 of the basic 10 commandments for those who still care. It makes government into God. It suggests that you can steal from people if you vote for it. And it says that it is good to be covetous of your neighbor's ass. Right? For Bill Clinton, it has a different meaning. But the problem for conservatives is we never actually argue on a moral level. We're constantly arguing on an effective level, on an efficiency level. And that's a problem because the left always argues on the moral level. In the end, they always say, sure, my ideas don't work, but they're fair. They're fair, right? And so what you have to say, the only way to come back to that from that is to say, no, your ideas are not fair, your ideas are theft. Your ideas are theft. You don't get to steal from other people just because you want their stuff. That's the only way to beat that argument. Do it on the moral level. Otherwise, they can always argue, well, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. Okay, there's no way to come back from that because, again, they're operating in unicorn land with gumdrop rainbows and fairy skies.
The thing I hate the most from the right is this constant refrain. Yeah, socialism, it's a great idea if only it worked. It's not true. It's an unbelievably morally shitty idea. The reason is this. The basic premise of socialism is, I'm here, I'm breathing, give me crap. Right? You have an obligation to care for me. I have a right to health care. I can force that doctor to go to medical school, expend $200,000, spend her entire life learning medicine, and then I can walk into her house and force her to provide me medicine. Right? Capitalism, by nature, is the opposite. Capitalism is the idea that I will starve unless I give you a good or a service that you want. Right? If I don't give you something that you want, I'm not going to eat tonight. It's forced altruism, effectively. Right? We have to have a trade. We have to come to some sort of consensus. I have to give you something cool, and you have to give me something cool. Right? It's great. Socialism is rape, and capitalism is consensual sex.
The reality of the situation is that the economy grows because people engage in consensual transactions, and people invent new things in order to engage in more of those consensual transactions. That's not an impoverishing thing. The truth is that socialism is the most selfish philosophy on planet Earth because it is based on the essential concept that I am breathing, therefore I deserve. Capitalism is, in essence, forced altruism because if I don't give you something that you want, then I will starve. If I don't give you something that you want, then I will starve because it is based on consent, whereas socialism is based inherently on force.
I think as kind of a millennial conservative, constitutional conservative, one of the biggest threats and one of the hardest things to respond to from people on the left is when they talk about the utopia of the Nordic countries, because they are oftentimes armed with a lot of facts in regards to the efficiency of their public programs and things to that effect. So how would you recommend responding to those claims of the utopianism of the Nordic countries?
Okay, so the first thing that's important to notice about the Nordic countries is that the Nordic countries are, by and large, extraordinarily ethnically homogenous. So they're not comparable and culturally homogenous as well. So Vermont looks a lot like Norway. Right? Bernie Sanders' philosophy works in Vermont and it works in Norway, but it only works for a temporary period of time because Vermont doesn't have its own defense budget, and really neither does Norway. Right? We've been paying for the Nordic countries' defense budgets for a long time. Also, it's worthwhile noting that the taxes in these countries are extraordinarily high, and the countries are going bankrupt anyway. So for about a 15-year period, 20-year period, the Nordic countries have been experiencing extraordinarily slow growth, which has led them to actually elect more right-wing governments on economics and deregulate their economies, because it turns out people don't like paying twice the amount that it costs for a normal car. Right? The income tax rate in places like Denmark for middle-class people, not for upper-class people, for middle-class people is like 60%. So, you know, it's easy for students to say 60% sounds good, but you all go to Yale, which means that eventually you'll have a job that pays you enough that you'll be paying a high percentage of your income in taxes, and it ain't that much fun. There's a reason that Denmark, all these countries are now turning away from this, and they've been living off the back of America paying for their defense budget for a very long time. So you have the privilege of not having to pay your own defense budget. You also have a group of what can best be described as upper education people who have grown up in Western countries with a particular set of values, and socialism, at least in the Nordic way, not full government ownership of resources, but high redistribution of income, you know, that is capable of lasting for a certain period of time, but even there it collapses. Right? The lack of my $100,000 salary, that's because society is mean, and so we have to transform the society. And that's why young people, again, 40% back speech codes in American life. This is why I think the last poll was nearing or over 40% of young people are okay with socialism, like the actual socialism, because they don't know anything. They've been taught stupidity, and how they feel is all that matters. I mean, there's a video that's going around the internet getting all sorts of play about income inequality. Income inequality is the stupidest issue. Income inequality means nothing, right? I mean, I have a lot of income inequality with Bill Gates, but I'm doing pretty well, and I don't care that Bill Gates is doing really well. The only thing we should all care about is that there are poor people. We should figure out how poor people can do better, not how to make Bill Gates less rich. But this video is going around and saying, here's a poll of what Americans think the wealth distribution should look like, and here is what the wealth distribution actually looks like. And I watched this video in bewilderment, and young people love it. And I watched this video in bewilderment saying, who told you that you get to tell the universe how wealth is distributed? Right? Who told you that you have a moral say as to how wealth is distributed? It's immoral, it's evil, it's wrong. You're going to have to steal people's labor from them. But people are not told this, and so they think that their own subjective vision of what reality should look like should govern what reality actually looks like, and it's only later, after 80 years of communist failure, that they realize, oh, that, and hundreds of millions of people dead, that they realize, oh, that was a bad idea.
Fuck Donald Trump! 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 USA! 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 USA!
We have team, guys, turn this way. We have team.
Gotta motivate.
We have tape. We're actually looking for diversity.
We have two down. You guys are two down. Donald Trump! What do you mean? No, you gotta go. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck Donald Trump.
Yes, it can. Are your parents legal? I'm asking a question. Obviously, they're not. Maybe you were born here.
Don't listen to his bullshit.
Maybe you were born here. But were your parents legal?
You are racist.
Yes, it
you
does.
You are a racist.
Because they shouldn't be in this country.
Racism at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God.
They can go back to whatever country they were born in.
Everyone in this country was not from here. We're all immigrants.
Exactly.
We're all immigrants.
Look,
a lot of people have been it before.
That's what God gave us. That's what makes us all equal. He gave us rights. Now fuck you.
Mexico is very hard on their borders. Why don't you go down south?
This is going to prevail. Heaven and earth will pass.
But you lost the land. Thank God you lost the land. You think we want America to be like Mexico? No. If you want it, go to Mexico. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
You're browner than us. He is browner than us. You go to Mexico. He has accused me of dying of AIDS. He has called me a girl. He is homophobic. He is racist. Why would we halt Islam? Islamic people do nothing wrong. It is a bunch of group of people who are terrorizing has nothing to do with the religion.
Any company, any store, any judge goes against
That's the main reason.
Hey guys, it's Jacob Honeycutt. We're live on Facebook with a Trump supporter, and a Trump hater.
We don't hate anyone, sir. We absolutely do. You talk about hate. Why is what we think is hate?
I'm not saying that I hate him. I am saying that he incites hate.
How?
I'm saying that he hates Mexicans.
He didn't say he hates Mexicans. Did he ever say that?
He was going to build a wall to keep them out.
Oh, that's right, because we don't belong in our, we don't have a right to defend our borders. You lock your doors at night? Well, why do you do that? You should open your doors at night.
Because I
want to
live
come
in
in
the
and
city.
sleep on your, I don't care. I would like to come into your house and sleep on your couch.
Sir,
I
what
would
I'm
like to
trying
get
to
some
say...
food out of your fridge. Can you please leave your door open
Absolutely.
tonight? You will?
Absolutely.
Will you give me your address so
Just
I can get
because,
some food? I might be hungry.
You're voting for Trump
I am unemployed. I am an unemployed
not
veteran.
hurt you.
I would love some free food.
Absolutely.
I would love a place to sleep tonight.
What would you like? I'll
Just
look
give me
up
your
the
address.
address.
Right.
I'm not giving you my address, sir.
Why not?
Because I
But
don't
you can lock your
trust you. I
doors.
don't know you.
Well, then they don't know Mexicans that are coming across the border with drugs and stuff like that. So
I'm not
we can
denying
trust
that.
them.
I'm not denying that.
So you have no valid point whatsoever. What else has he preached about hate? When has he ever said, I hate you? No? Nothing? Silence is good.
I'm not going to argue with someone.
It's not arguing.
I'm not
It's
going
called
to change
debating.
your
So
opinion.
you have your ideas, and I have
I am
my
not
ideas.
going to change your
In
opinion,
a free
sir.
society, I can spout off my ideas, and you come back
I
with
am
yours.
not
So
going to change your opinion, sir.
Exactly. So I'm trying to figure out where he is, where take you. What's he said to take you?
I am not trying to change your opinion, sir.
You're never going to. I'm just trying to figure out why you think it's
I am not trying to change your opinion.
Is that your go-to line? That's just it?
I am not trying to change your opinion.
That's
You are
fine.
entitled to
I'm not
believe
trying
in
to
what
change
you would
yours.
like to.
You can be hateful all you want. I'm just trying to
You
figure out
are entitled to believe in what you want.
That's not.
I'm just trying to figure out. I didn't even say who I was voting for. Not once. I have been standing out here for 2 hours, and not once have I said who I was voting for.
I know that. I can tell that. I'm just asking what Trump has said that's hateful.
There are a lot of things that he said that's
Give
hateful.
two
Trump is a
examples.
vote for hate. I'm just wondering why you're trying to change our votes.
Because he's a racist.
How is he a racist? When has he ever said anything like
The
that?
KKK endorses.
What if I told you there's a
Hey,
picture
take a look at this, guys. We got a bus driving by that says Trump hates. Are you with him?
What if I told you the KKK was formed by the Democratic Party to stop
I don't
Republicans?
disagree with you.
Oh yes,
I never
but
said
Trump
that I was
endorses the
siding with the
KKK.
Democratic Party.
So what has he said?
I'm saying that Donald Trump stands for hate.
Okay, that's what you say, but can you prove it with facts? No?
Look at the news headlines.
This guy is perfect.
Look at the news headlines.
Look at oh right, I should believe
Look
the
at
mainstream
every
media.
single thing.
The left.
Okay, I agree with you on that one. I'll at least agree with you on that one.
Wow. Have you ever seen? You know who Tyler Durden is? Well, this conversation is over.
Have a good night, okay?
Hey, you
have a good night. Be safe.
Can you tell live on Facebook why you don't support Donald Trump?
Because he's a racist.
Can you give two examples of why Donald Trump is a racist? That's what I thought.
0.
All right, those of you who are watching, we are live downtown at the Trump rally. There are thousands of people in line to see Donald. We've seen quite a few protesters. As we get closer to the Midland Theater, we're going to see a lot more, as we hear there are many in front of the theater, so we're going to go see that as soon as the line starts to move. I'm Jacob Honeycutt. We'll be back soon.
Hello everyone! Hey, I'm just stopping by to remind you that liberals are insane! Social justice warriors are becoming more violent and triggered than ever before. Anyways, be sure to subscribe to KGPTV on YouTube and have a blessed day. Yeah, man!